Good morning, everyone. How's everybody this morning? Hey, we're back in fall. This chilly, rainy morning. The dog didn't even want to go out. So, welcome to everyone online. This is, of course, Center for Spiritual Living, West Georgia, and we welcome you all. Now, this morning, Cheryl will begin our service with a meditation. Okay. And we are just going to get quiet and just begin to center ourselves and go within. You may want to just gently close your eyes and just begin to take some deep breaths. And on the exhale, just begin to release all those little muscles around the eyes and the cheeks. And again, as we breathe out in your own time, just begin to relax the neck and let go of the shoulders. Just let them go. And we begin to feel this wave of relaxation going down through the body and out the feet. And again, let's just let go and release the body. Just beginning to feel this peace. Peace in our face and our forehead. And as we do, we just begin to focus on that spot on the forehead we call the single eye or the third eye. Begin to go there and to go inside into inner peace, inner space. And as we continue to breathe at our own pace, once again we feel the shoulders and the body just relaxed. And we come into that inner space, that essence that we are. And we imagine ourselves on a mountain looking out over a great valley. And we feel the gentle rain. And as we look out, we release outward We release the old as the rain washes it away. We release the old and we embrace our pure spirit. Pure, loved spirit. We release all that is not serving us, and we embrace the good. And as we go forward this week, we remember that the only thing standing between us and our good is our mind. And now we begin to come back into this time and space, feeling renewed and refreshed. And we remember that we can come here at any time as we gently come back and open our eyes at our own pace. And so it is. Thank you, Cheryl. I went to my favorite beach again. It was beautiful. Now, if you would all stand, and we'll read together our vision and mission statement. Our mission statement. CSL West Georgia is a joyful global community where everyone belongs. Through our unique spiritual teachings, we provide a safe environment to experience compassionate living. And our declaration of principles, I believe there was one creative intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe my purpose is to allow this divine mind to express in, as, and through me. I know that this divine presence is a power for good, which responds to my conscious use to create a life filled with health, love, peace, and success in all things. I use it now, and I rejoice in it, and so it is. Woo-hoo! And now, we have Sherry with us today, while Cynthia's down on her beach in Florida. Perfect time gone, but we're thrilled. Yay, yay, Sherry's here.
So for congregational today, we will do Pour Yourself on Me. So if y'all will join in. As we open our hearts, we open our minds, we become willing to surrender to Spirit within.
yourself on me. Excuse me. Pour yourself into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit. Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into wonderful Spirit. Pour your joy. Pour your joy in me. Pour your joy into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour your joy in me. Pour your joy into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Pour your light. Shine your light on me. Shine your light into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit. Shine your light. Shine your light in me. Shine your light into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Sing and dance. Sing and dance in me. Excuse me. Sing your song into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Sing your song in me. Sing your song. Sing your song into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Yes. Dance and smile. Dance and smile. Wonderful Spirit. It was so good, we're going to do it again. Dance and smile in me. Dance and smile into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit. Dance and smile. Dance and smile in me. Dance and smile. Dance and smile into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit. Pour yourself in me. Pour yourself into my heart. Oh, Spirit, pour yourself in me. Excuse me. Wonderful Spirit. Whoa, wonderful Spirit.
Gee, I think I just need to waltz right up here, right, guys? I can't sing, but we have somebody coming up who also can sing and do other things. Yay. Marcia is going to be our reader this morning. Thank you, Marcia. Waltz on down. Waltz on down.
What a segue. Okay, good morning. So I had the pleasure of reading Ms. Deborah's biography and her talk for today, and she mentioned that she was going to do a little poetry as well because April is National Poetry Month. And also, since I'm a STEAM teacher in the Cobb County schools, I know that tomorrow is Earth Day. So I was like, what if I could find a poem that includes nature, somehow? So went on the hunt, and I pulled a reading from Reduced to Joy from Mark Nepo. And the poem that I'm going to read is called The Water Takes Many Forms. And now I need my extra eyes. So this starts out with a quote from Ning. When people are at a loss, the guide ferries them over. When one is awake, one self. I could just leave after that one. Okay. The water takes many forms. Listen for guides, but use their wisdom as you would a lamp to read your own heart. If someone dissuades you from your heart, they are not a guide. A guide, like a ferryman, brings you close to the water, will even help you cross, but it's your own thirst that makes you cry, stop, wait, so that you can drink. When drinking of that water, it's clear. The taste of birth we long to keep alive grows inside everything. In the sheerness of water once it stops moving, in the surrender of exhaustion that loosens every grip, in the peace within our loneliness once we stop gnawing at what might have been. When drinking of that peace, it's clear. Doubt leads to humility, the way thirst makes us drink. Pain drops into oneness, the way hunger makes us eat. When finding a guide, listen, if you must, to what they have to say, but look for the water in their eyes and the wind that rims their voice. Let yourself be scoured back to the beginning, which is not behind us, but about to crack open within us. And so it is.
So, since most of us in here are women, with the exception, I want to talk about self-care and self-love and self-forgiveness, because those seem to be things that we as caregivers and mothers and sisters and daughters, we don't do that a lot. We give it all away. We're always giving it away. We're always giving it away. We're giving it to everybody else. And we don't ever take time to sit down with ourselves and forgive ourselves for everything and love ourselves. This song was actually written by Sia. It's one of my favorite songs that she ever wrote. And we recorded it at my home studio many years ago. My husband did all the music. And it's called I Forgive Myself. It's very visual, and feel free to sing with me on the choruses, because it's just the 3 words, I forgive myself. Picture a valley in your mind. Wander there a while, where the gentle breezes blow. Peaceful waters flow for miles, make an offering of flowers. Red and orange and yellow, green and blue, indigo and violet, chakra energy and hues. There are secrets you must tell, wrongs that have been done. Maybe loved ones have been hurt, but the past can be undone. The past with all its prisons, shame and rage, resentment, envy and fear, selfishness and judgment. If your heart could only hear, I forgive, I forgive, I forgive myself. I forgive, I forgive, I forgive myself. We choose to forgive. Open up our hearts. Let the love of God surround us. And let the past depart. Free us from our prison. Shame and rage, resentment, envy and fear, selfishness and judgment. Now the path is clear. I see an altar on the hill. I surrender myself there. I release the pain and fear, resentment, sadness, and despair. I make an offering of flowers, red and orange and yellow, green and blue, indigo and violet. I let the healing light shine through. I forgive, I forgive, I forgive myself. Sing it with me. I forgive, I forgive, I forgive myself. All my past mistakes, I forgive. Any hurt I caused, I forgive. All the lies I told, I forgive myself. When I wasn't living my true self, I forgive, I forgive, I forgive myself. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. And I forgive you too.
Goodness, wasn't that beautiful? Thank you, Sherry. Just gorgeous. Well, we have someone gorgeous with us today. Deborah's been with us as a visitor, so we are delighted to have her with us today. And I do want to introduce her with a little fun thing that I found on her website. about her name, Deborah. How many have heard that name before? Okay. Do you all know what it means and where it comes from? Ha ha, I do. It's because I looked it up. Deborah is an ancient Hebrew name, and it means honeybee. Don't you love that? Deborah has been busy the last few years. She's the mother of 3 young adult prodigies. She's an IT business and change consultant, a senior program and project manager, certified executive and leadership coach, currently works with Effective People LLC as a project team for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services learning management systems that provide and tracks mandatory training, curriculum, and certifications to over 100,000 users and 13 operating divisions, including the National Institute for Health and the Center for Disease Control. And if that's not enough, quite the mouthful, Deborah is certified in positive psychology coaching and a member of our sister church, the Spiritual Living Center in Atlanta. Yay. Deborah's career has spanned more than 25 years. She doesn't look like she could possibly have spent 25 years doing anything but being beautiful, and which has included exiting her IT career as an enterprise database analyst and becoming a serial entrepreneur. Her business endeavors have included being a successful real estate investor and a partner in a financial services business, which catapulted her and her business partner and their family to live a multi-million-dollar lifestyle before she experienced a dark night of the soul. This turning point in her life would cause her to leave her partnership and life as a Black American princess who was living the American dream, becoming brokenhearted, and spiritually bankrupt. Deborah started over from ground zero, landing at Delta Airlines to re-enter the IT world, overseeing the digital transformation of the learning and development ecosystem for 20,000 flight attendants. Deborah did the work to restore her heart, her mind, and rejuvenate her soul. And she is now the founder and CEO of the Queen Bee Globe, our own personal Queen Bee, a leadership development, consulting, coaching, and project-based learning community that is on a mission to empower the new multi-generation of women using technology, psychology, and wisdomology. I love that. Her vision is to empower women leaders so they can lead the future of work worldwide from the boardrooms as well as from the family room. As a social impact organization, the Queen Bee Globe is an advocate for DEI, which is known as the Diversity, Equality, and Inclusion, STEAM, Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics, and the development of a brand new era of leadership. She can be found on her social media page, and you all can chat with her afterwards. And we have her book with us today. She has written a beautiful poetry book, and we have it here afterwards, so please come and take a peek at it. And in the meantime, we're going to learn all about Deborah's wonderful, fabulous life. Please welcome her.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandy. Get myself together here. You all can hear me okay? Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. This very much feels like a homecoming for me. Even though I've attended here as a visitor, I feel very much at home. You have been so welcoming and so loving each time that I've come, and to be here on stage just feels like I've found my place again, a place that I really like sharing from. This also feels like a homecoming because I went to school right down the street at the University of West Georgia. And, that's a place of education. Like, this is a place of education. So I can't think of Center for Spiritual Living West Georgia looking about where I went to school, West Georgia College. So it really does feel like a homecoming for me. I am going to be about how the power of true love transformed my life and how it can also transform yours. And I know it has already. So I'm going to be speaking to you from that topic. I couldn't speak to you from that topic without speaking to you about the first source of love that I learned from, and that was my mother. So I will share a little bit about my mother, a little bit about my story, and as Sandy mentioned, I'll also share some excerpts from my book in the interest of National Poetry Month. Just so happen to have a poetry book to share from. So I'll share from my book as I just share the background of my story. And it's really a story of true love and how I went from one life to a new life, from one world to a new world, from a place of maybe some darkness to a place of enlightenment. And so I'm going to share a little bit about that. So I'll start with just saying from the beginning, one of the things that I got from one of the gurus that you all may know, personal development gurus, Tony Robbins, he says that your blueprint is life. Your success is based on your blueprint in life. Your success, whatever success you achieve, is based on the blueprint that you have for your life. And oftentimes we have a blueprint that we get from our childhood, we get from our education systems, we get from our environment, we get from our culture, and I was no different than that. So the blueprint that I began to get from my life really came from being. I was born in Chicago, Chi-Town. Anybody? Chicago? Yay! South Side, Chicago. Obama's Chicago. Okay. Anyway, got to get some good associations in there. So I was born in Chicago, and so my mother was there being raised by her sister, her older sister, because her mother had passed away at a very early age. And she was being raised by her sister, who was a very religious person. And so she was a part of the church there where she met my dad. My dad was an evangelical, aspiring young minister looking to make his way in the world and, to all of the world and whatnot. So they met, and she would have 3 boys and then have me, myself, the only girl. And so that was the backdrop. And we would go on to move from Chicago to San Antonio, but my dad would go on to start a small church and become the pastor. And he would just really begin to be more and more fanatical, more and more dig his heels in the ground on everything that the Bible was saying and keeping all the rules and the regiments and the law and all of those things. But it was kind of contradictory kind of situation. There was some hypocrisy things going on. There was some violence in the home. And my mother and I, we all experienced that violence, right? So that was the backdrop from which I came. And my mother would become what I consider my first savior. She would become my first savior and my first true love, because she made the decision to leave that situation, take me and my brothers and come to Atlanta and build a new life. So with that, I would like to share the first poem from my book, and it's called Fairy Tale. Now, this just speaks to how even though my mother left the situation, I still had, from the age of 1 to 7, you may know from psychology, you develop a blueprint, develop a psychological personality profile. And that's what, things are already laid their way, your beliefs, your thinking, your thoughts, they have already taken form. But there's also a soul blueprint. So that's the good news, an originational blueprint. But anyway, fairy tale is the first point. A little girl, imagine mommy rocking her to sleep. Every day, a magical storybook. Every night, a lullaby. And her daddy would always be there. A little girl dreamed of fairy tale endings, Cinderella balls, love everlasting, and wishing upon a shooting star. A little girl fantasized about Prince Charming, a fairy godmother, her castle on the hill, and praying to the mountains on high. A little girl believed all men were noble, evil would never win over good. Dragons were mystical creatures from tall tales, and serpents never deceive the maidens. A little girl planned a life with no disappointments, shielded by her knight in shining armor, and her heart never lost a battle. So that's a little excerpt from fairy tale, which will let mindset was. So I did go on to find my Prince Charming. Finished school at West Georgia College, got my IT degree, rose up the corporate ladder, and looked for my Prince Charming, or as they say, a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. So I had to let him find me. So found a strong Nigerian man. A lot of cultural clashes going on, but we were going to have 3 children and began to build a life together. And as Sandy mentioned in my bio, he was a serial entrepreneur. The only problem with just being a serial entrepreneur, he was also a serial cheater. So those two things didn't quite go together real well with the marriage situation. And that's where the second poem that I want to share with you comes from. And it is called Universal Woman. I've lived the life of 1,000 women. I've traveled the road of 10,000 to come. I was born into the destitute of the projects, and I've lived in the lush trappings of the suburbs. I've slept with hunger pains as an impoverished child, and I've been heavy with riches thought to be superb. I've known heartache to the point of rejection and sought warmth in another's affection. I've learned to question what seems to be true. I've discovered addiction is not happiness. It only leaves you feeling sad and blue. I've lived the life of 1,000 women. I've traveled the road of 10,000 to come. I've created my own drama and overcome trauma. I've nurtured new life and been perplexed by death. I found that a pure heart and a sound mind are the most abundant forms of wealth. I've made mistakes and I've triumphed in victories. I've experienced kindness that had no reason. And while I find goodness in being a blessing, I realize that we must each weather our own seasons. I've circled the globe of existence and the universe of being, expanding beyond time and experiencing beyond seeing. I'll pause right there. Just gives you a little idea that at some point I began to realize that, I'm actually having a universal experience. There are many women that have been in this situation where the marriage was somewhat of a bondage construct where, it's toxic, but the religion is telling you that you must stay in it, that you must submit, that you must conform, that you must be a good wife. And so there begins to be like some chaos and confusion going on the inside of you. And that was the case with me. So what I did is I began to journal. And journal was something that I had seen my mother do. She was a writer, and so I began to journal. I kept a diary as a little girl, and so I was journaling and trying to figure out. And what I found was that journaling became a great source of self-awareness, a great source of self-reflection. I could write something down, and I look back and like, I was thinking that. That's a real stinking thinking thought, you know? You're like, oh, I don't think too highly of myself, you know? And so it became really, really insightful for me. And I began to like do some research, and I found out that journaling is actually something that is also considered a form of meditation. And so there's a quote from Barbara Bash, one of the writers of the Simple Joy of Writing by Hand. She says, "It is out the physical act of holding a pen that is meditative, bringing me into the present moment." And so it was doing that for me. And so I know one of the things we use in the Spiritual Living Center community, we use meditation and we quiet our minds. Well, journaling is another way to also quiet your mind. So I want to offer that as something, if you're not already doing it, something to consider to try as well. And the Harvard researchers at the Harvard Health Publishing organization, they said about journaling, keeping a journal is an effective stress management tool, helping to solve problems, boost memory, improve creativity, and clarify issues. So it was very much doing that for me. So at this point, I am really in a place of turmoil, and I'm trying to figure out, you know, okay, this man is cheating and doing all the thing, doing the most. How do I rectify this situation? How do I even begin to feel better? I love the song about, you know, forgiving yourself and loving yourself. How do I begin to feel better? How do I get independence? So I decided I'm going to get a day spa. So I open a day spa, I have a day spa, a yoga studio, all combined. So I'm in the process of getting the organization off the ground, but it's not quite coming together. Maybe because I was a mess on the inside, it wasn't quite coming together. Because a day spa, you know, that's places where you want to feel relaxed and rejuvenated and restored. And I was a big mess on the inside, right? So I was trying to get this building and everything remodeled, and the rain was coming down just like it was last night. It would flood out the yoga studio floors, and just, you know, and I'd have to replace the floors again. I'm like, what the heck is going on? You know, and then so one day, I was in one of the buildings, and I was trying to get the electricity and AC to work. And it kept just like flickering off. So I called my brother over. I have an older brother that is an independent contractor. And so he came over, he's looking at everything. He goes underneath the house looking at everything. While he does that, I didn't decide. I heard a voice. Yeah, I began to hear voices. I'm not crazy. Oh, maybe a little bit. But I did begin to hear voices, right? And this voice said to me, "Go look under the kitchen sink." I'm like, okay, that's a strange instruction. But I go and I open up the kitchen sink, and this is a house. I was going to make it into a little center for the women to gather and whatnot. And I look and I scream, "Ah!" It was a big, gray, ugly, beady-eyed rat. I mean, it was so big. And here it is in my spa. In my place of tranquility. And I'm just like, what the heck? So I'm freaking out. My daughters come in, my two younger daughters. They were younger at the time, and they see it, and they're not fazed. They didn't have an association with a rat like I did growing up in the projects. You see those rats, and you're just like, So again, the imprint, that was the association that I had with it. So I was so afraid. So my brother comes in the spa, and he's like, "Don't tell me. I already know what it is. Because guess what I found underneath the house? It's a whole family of them underneath the house, just chewing on the electricity. No wonder why my AC is not working. The rats are everywhere." Oh my God. So that day I went home. I was so discouraged, and a couple of days would go by, and I said, okay, I gotta close this. I can't do this. This is not gonna work. This is not gonna be a place of tranquility. So I decide, all right, shut it down. So I shut it down. that day home, that as I was driving home, it was just one of the longest drives, and I was just in such sadness. It was almost like a shame and a blame and a, oh, I messed it up. Now I'm not, couldn't figure out then, now how am I going to make enough money to get out of this marriage? And, and then I'm still not good enough and he's cheating all over the place. So I was just in a shame storm, right? And so as I'm driving, I hear a voice again. The voice this time says, worthy. I said, what? Worthy. I said, what? I still didn't know what that meant, but a strange peace began to come over me and throughout me. I said, okay, it's going to be okay. Whatever it is, it's going to be okay. I didn't know what it was, but it's going to be okay. And so I had developed a relationship with this voice at this time. I had been hearing things since I've been journaling and beginning to really seek the Spirit. And so I get to the house. My children are there, and they're just, oh, mommy. They're indifferent. They don't care what's happening with the spa and all that stuff. And so they're hugging on me, and I get a phone call. I look at it. It's my mom. I was like, oh. I didn't want to answer the phone because I was in such a sad place, and she was in a place where I was trying to help her through some things. But I said, okay, let me get it because she may want something. I pick up the phone, and she begins to shout at the top of her lungs, Deborah, Deborah, you're worthy far more than rubies. You're worthy, Deborah, you're worthy. You're going to consider a field, and you're going to buy it. You're going to rise up, and your children, they're going to call you blessed. She said, and your husband, your real husband, he's going to truly love you. I'm shattered. Like, what's going on? Oh my God. Oh my God. And so I knew, though, that it had to be the Spirit, because she didn't know I had just heard worthy. She didn't know what had happened at the spa. And so I was like, okay, the Spirit is now, speaking through my mom and giving me messages. And so at this time, I had already become a coach and had been trained. And so I began to really use some of the coaching tools. And this particular coaching tool is the tool of powerful questions. So I began to ask powerful questions. So a powerful question, well, a not so powerful question might be, okay, well, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? And a powerful question, and what I would learn through coaching, is to turn the question around. And instead of saying, what's wrong with me, say, what's wrong with the situation? What can be fixed about this situation? Instead of saying, what am I doing wrong? Well, what's wrong with him? No, don't say that. Don't say that. No, no. Say, what's wrong that can be made right? Find a way to turn it around so that you open up, so that possibilities open up, so that you can tap into an inner resource. And so that's what I began to do. So coaching, you all, has been around now for 20 years or so, and that's when I really first got into it. And I really want to highly recommend that as another tool, at least the powerful questions. So if you find yourself kind of stuck in a situation, change it around, change the question around, make it more positive. It should open you up. It should not have you feeling down and bad about yourself. If it is, then it's not a powerful question. And we're known as human beings to constantly ask ourselves question. So make it sure it's a powerful question. So at this time, I want to share with you a poem called Worthy. I have to look at Deborah Worthy and say this one. The day will come when I won't have to justify my existence. What I do, who I am, the day will come when my being will be enough. On that day, I will simply say my name without titles, without degrees, without assets, without distinctions, without accomplishments, without a bio. On that day, my looks won't matter. I will not bother with makeup for my face. What I'm wearing will be irrelevant. My waist size will be an abstract number. I will no longer justify my appearance, hoping that you'll love me, hoping that you'll appreciate me, hoping that I'll be enough to be worthy. On that day, talk about how much I earn will cease. A description of my position will be useless. Status will not be calculated by my possessions. My success will take on a new meaning. I will no longer quantify my value, hoping to please you, hoping to impress you, hoping to be enough to be worthy. On that day, my presence will suffice, and I will rest, relax into my own being, then stand. I will stand proud. On today, I am worthy just because I am. I am one of God's creations, and that is enough. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So at this time, with that realization, I'm not only questioning, now I'm questioning God. I'm turning the powerful questions on God. I'm like, okay, God, what about this? Now I'm supposed to be worthy. I am worthy. You've already enlightened me. My mama has testified to it. And I'm supposed to have a husband that really loves me. And, what's going on? And I would realize that my mother was quoting the Proverbs 31 woman. And that is a text in the Testament of the Old Testament of the Bible. If any of you are familiar, come from Christianity. And so what she was saying to me is that I was the epitome of womanhood, because that's what the Proverbs 31 woman is. And so I'm just like, well, if my mama think I'm the Proverbs 31 woman, who is this man to be acting like this and telling me that I'm not, and society for that matter, because we know men are just getting it from society, just like we get it from society, the messages that are no longer serving us. And so I in a dark soul at this time moved to a 10,000 square foot home in Buckhead, 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, an elevator, a wine cellar, just the home theater, you name it, it had it. But I was absolutely miserable in a dark place, dark night of the soul. I began to think, well, what is it to gain the whole world and you lose your soul? Because my soul was not at peace, So I am questioning, and I hear from the Spirit again. Because I was like, well, now if I'm not a wife to him really good, and that's not working out, who am I? And the Spirit began to say, you're going to be a political and religious type of leader. What? What? So I'm perplexed. So I go to what I think is a source, my husband. So I go ask him, well, what do you think about this? This is what I heard. Is this possible? Can I do something? I don't think I've seen it before. He said, absolutely not. You can't do that. There's no such thing as a religious leader and a political leader. The last person I saw to do that, and he went on and rattle. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't accept it though. I was still going back to my prayer, my meditation, my journaling, seeking answers, trying to figure out. I thought I heard it though. So one morning, I'm in my prayer room, and my daughter Lola, she's sitting outside on the stairwell, and she's sitting there looking out the window. And I said, what are you doing? She said, I'm trying to hear from God. She's 5 years old. Oh, okay. So I'm not the only one trying to hear from God. She's trying to hear from God too. So I said, okay, well, you're doing the right thing. Just sit and be still and be quiet, be silent. And so she said, as if she already knew what to do. Okay, so then I go back in my prayer room. I come back out. She's gone. She's gone outside. She's gone out to play and taking the dog out and everything. And I'm still wrestling with my issue. Like I'm trying to figure out, okay, religious leader, political, what the heck? And so she comes back inside and I said, well, did you hear from God? She said, yes. I said, well, what did God say? She said, he said, go watch the I Have a Dream speech. I said, what? And I didn't make an association then. So I just went and I said, okay, well, let me help you, baby. Because she didn't know how to use the computers and stuff then. And so we go into my office. And so we bring up, I Google, I Have a Dream speech. And voila, y'all already know who it was. Dr. Martin Luther King. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day, and y'all know I have a dream, right? And so I'm like, wait a minute. He's a religious leader. Wait a minute. He's a political leader. So I'm shaking in my boots. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. It's possible. It's possible. My husband said it wasn't possible, but he was wrong. The Spirit was telling me through my daughter that it was possible to be that type of leader, to be someone in alignment with Spirit, and also not be happy with what you see on the political scene and seeking to make a change. And God knew my heart, the consciousness, oneness knew my heart. So I said, baby, oh my God, this message is for me. This is for me. God is telling me I can't have a dream. I can't be who God is telling me that I could be. And so she said, yeah, mommy, but it's for me too. Oh, okay. Okay then. All right. So it's for both of us, right? So we did indeed begin dreaming that day. We began to dream anew that day. And so as we began to dream anew, new forms and ideas and visions began to come to my mind, new possibilities. What if I could? Be a woman that was liberated, be a woman that was free, be a woman that felt truly loved and embraced by the church. And I had tried doing it the traditional way. Maybe there's an untraditional way that, God is trying to show me. Maybe there's something else that I'm missing because I was still very much in the Christian church at that time. I was a leader. I was leading women's conferences and things like that, but something fell out of alignment. So the next poem I want to share with you is called Mind of a Genius. Let me find it. Mind of a Genius. I peeked into the mind of a genius. And it was crazy. It was wild. It blew my mind. The universe exposed its intentions. A galaxy of celestial beings emerged, and the ocean connected with the sky. It was dark and light in unison on planet Earth, giving permission for opposites to attract. Venus begot war. Mars embraced peace, allowing good and evil to embrace their creator. I peeked into the mind of a genius, and it was crazy. It was wow. It blew my mind. The mysteries of life unfolded. Suffering and death found reason. The cosmos harmonized its orchestra at the simplicity of the complexities. And I was perplexed at the significance of one atom. Radiant energy surrounded every atom, and Eve was honored for her conscious nation. Finally, time had no clock, and the ending became the beginning. I peeked into the mind of a genius, and it was crazy. It was wild. It blew my mind. Love and peace and joy took their throne as the blessings of the ancient mountains overcame us. The bounty of the age-old hills gave us rest in its valley, and it was glorious once and for all. Thank you. Thank you. So I really felt like I had tapped into something new. There was still a dark place on the inside that needed to find a reconciliation, still searching for some truth that was missing in the traditional church. I was trying to reconcile, well, if I leave this marriage, am I going to hell? Am I going to go to hell? Because, God said you're supposed to be married to death till you part and all this stuff. And so I'm trying to reconcile things, and I'm trying to figure out, well, why am I so unhappy? I'm in this big, 10,000 square foot house. It's a mansion in Buckhead. This is the American dream. I had a lake house at Lake Oconee. Why am I not happy? So my daughter came back to me again, and she said, Mommy, God told me to share something else. Okay, what now? Okay, so she said, get the Bible, she said she didn't know the chapter. She said, just turn and I'll tell you when to stop. So you all know, I don't know if you know the Holy Bible, your backgrounds that you come from, but for a Christian upbringing, that was the sacred text. That is the sacred text that, I would look to find answers from. And so I began to turn through the Old Testament. Then I got to the New Testament, and she'd say, no, not there. No, not there. Okay, I turned a little bit more. She said, no, not there. And then I stopped her. She said, yeah, right there. And I said, okay, all right, Laura, let me read it. Let me see what's going on. Let me see what it says. And it said it was Jesus. Jesus was speaking to the Pharisees, which were the political leaders at that time, the political leaders that were looking to overcome him, looking to say that he wasn't the Christ consciousness, what we know as the Christ consciousness. He was not bringing the truth. And so the scripture said that you low here, low there, you will look over there, you will look over here, you will look everywhere for the Savior. He said, but stop looking for a Savior, for the kingdom of God is within you. Now, with that, I wept. I knew I was into a new truth. I hadn't considered such a thing before. You mean the whole kingdom is on the inside of me? That's what it said. It said the king, don't be looking for the man. Don't be ask the husband what the answer is. Don't be asking the man what the answer is. Don't be asking out here and out there. The kingdom is within you. Whoa. So with that, I got the strength. With that, and with the many revelations that had come before it, and I only shared a little bit of them, I began to realize there is a new way. There is a new life for me. And I got the courage to then leave the toxic relationship, and wouldn't be all smooth sailing. My daughter and I would move 8 times in a 8-year period of time. She would go to 8 different schools, and I would have 8 different jobs before landing at Delta Airlines. And at Delta Airlines, I was able to take flight. I was able to get back into the IT world, which I had exited, and become stay-at-home mom and entrepreneur. And I began to work at different organizations and began to rebuild my life. And truly, life is good right now. Life is good. God is good. But I want to just wrap up by saying that with that strength to leave, I resonated with a new feeling tone. And that feeling tone was self-love. And I think you shared a little bit of that in the poem that you read with Nepo. So I'm going to just read the self-love poem. It's called Self-Love Lesson, and this is the last one I'm going to share, and then I'll close. This is an overdue lesson on love, on loving yourself for the body where children were born, to the bruises of your trusting heart after it was torn, on loving yourself for the wrinkles lining your face, to the hard times when you prayed for more grace, on loving yourself for the sagging breasts and the gray hair, to the parts of your journey that haven't been fair, on loving yourself for your true beauty inside and out, to the life disappointments that caused you to shout, on loving yourself for the dark parts that hurt stole, to the brighter spaces that love made whole. On loving yourself for the tears you wiped with a kiss, to the times when your need for affection were dismissed. On loving yourself for taking nothing and creating fun, to the joy gained from sharing your authentic sun. On loving yourself for the depths of your soul, to the wisdom that has come from growing old. On loving yourself for all of your being, from now until to the days when love causes time to just stand still. Thank you. Thank you. So with that, I submit to you that true love truly did transform my life. With my mother's love, and we all have someone in our life that has been a mother or been like a mother to us, that has shown us this unconditional, courageous, ferocious love. My mother's love transformed me. My mother's love gave me an initial imprint that was truly love and helped me to overcome the imprint that was given to me by the church, by, not that all of the church is bad, but the part of the church that was. And then the gift of journaling, the gift of writing, that gave me that gift to be able to open up and to become self-aware and to become more conscious. Self-knowledge, you know, it says to know thyself is the greatest thing that you can know. And so I began to know myself. And then the coaching, the tool of coaching, the executive wisdom coaching, the powerful questions and all the different tools of coaching began to transform my life. And then motherhood itself through my daughter, and I have another daughter and son. All of them have been jewels, too many revelations to share at this time. But that love that I had for my daughter and she had for me, and I can't help but recognize my two girlfriends here, Letitia and Victoria from the Spiritual Center of Atlanta visiting. We just went to see my daughter perform last night at Columbus State University, and she did a wonderful job. She's a actress, and when we had that encounter with the Spirit, that was one of the things that came out of it. She said, "Mommy, I want to be an actress." Right? And so while I was getting my little instruction of some kind of spiritual political leader, she was getting her instruction of becoming an actress. And indeed, she is pursuing and achieving that dream. And so with all of those things, I found my way back home to source, home to spirit, home to oneness, home to the divine, home to the spiritual living center, home to unity, home to places like this that would receive all of us little children trying to find our way to abundance, to greatness, to oneness, to true love. And so I offer that to you all today. May you be blessed in the spirit of true love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ashe. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. That was amazing. Yes.
Yeah. So don't ignore the voice. A little rock and roll for your soul. There are no borders. There are no lines drawn in the sand. We don't need any soldiers.
Life and death is not ours to command. Lay down your weapons, unite. Turn from darkness to light. Our hearts will show us what's right. Fear and hatred replaced with forgiveness and grace for the whole human race. There is no separation. We are created in God's light, but we get lost in illusion. And then we forget we are divine. Love one another, he said, sisters and brothers instead. This is how we should live. Fear and hatred replaced with forgiveness and grace for the whole human race. The more love there is, 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 the more love there is. Yes, and God is all there is. God is all there is. No more tribal mentality, wars and brutality. Love is reality. So open your heart. The more love there is, 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 the more love there is. Yes, and God is all there is. God is all there is. The more peace there is, the more peace there is, the more hope there is, the more hope there is, the more love there is, the more love there is. Yes, and God is all there is. God is all there is. God is all there is. The more love there is, the more peace there is, the more hope there is. Yes, and God is all there is. Excuse me.
Oh my goodness. Give it up for Sherry. Woohoo! And Deborah. Oh my goodness. I told her I'm ready for the next chapter this afternoon. It's like watching those serial things on TV. When is the next one? Thank you, Deborah. That was just stunning. Loved it. And I have to get my head back into what I'm supposed to be. Can you hear me? What I'm supposed to be doing. All right, everybody. Now it's time for conscious giving. I think we've been this morning. We have certainly been given the Spirit this morning. The message was fabulous. We have wonderful visitors. Hi, girls. Happy to see you all. These are our sisters. Yay. So delighted to see you again. Glad you're back in town, Letitia. We'll talk. Can you hear me? Okay. All righty. Time for conscious giving. I've made my little announcement. Is a spiritual activity. Spiritual giving is an opportunity to express our gratitude and open our consciousness to greater abundance. It is the practice of participating in the circulation of universal good. We have 3 ways to give here at CSL Georgia. You can put cash or check in the envelope found in your bulletin. You can donate online by accessing your personal Breeze account using the Breeze mobile app on your phone. You can also donate electronically with your phone by using the information found on the back of the bulletin. This information is also being placed in the chat window for our online viewers. If you donate online, either using your phone or your Breeze account, please put an online giving card in the collection plate to acknowledge your contribution. If you did not pick one up at the door, you can get one from the usher. And I got so excited during the singing, I lost mine. It went flying through the air, y'all. Now, as one consciousness for prosperity, let us say together, freely I give with a feeling of abundance, knowing that my gift blesses others and myself as well.
Freely I give, freely I give, giving from my heart and from my soul. Freely I give, freely I give, and the gifts come back to me tenfold. Lovingly I give, lovingly I give.
And together we say, I am grateful for the divine givingness circulating abundantly through my life, our community, and our world. I have to get my glasses adjusted, y'all. They just don't hit quite right. Our announcements. Our guest speaker next Sunday will be our practitioner, our little mommy to be. She's bringing our newest member into the family before too long, Shauna K. Hunter, and we are looking forward to another inspirational message that everyone can relate to. Upcoming events, y'all. Have you all been watching our Facebook page and our messages that we send out? And notice our board over here announcing all the good things that are coming, okay? Next week is our Sunday afternoon past life regression with Nelta. It's from 1 to 3, so please stay and join in. And beforehand, we'd love for you need to get registered and go ahead and you can pay online. So make sure that you check and get registered as soon as you can, okay? The fee is $25, and otherwise it'll be $30 at the door. On the following Saturday, May 4th, Ursula, I think I saw Ursula. Oh, Ursula had to leave. Ursula is going to be offering a vision board workshop from 1 to 4. She'll also help you get clear on what you want. She'll come up with a plan of action, get motivated to move forward and create a vision board that works. If you all have never done a vision board before, please join in. They are fabulous and they really, really get you centered and get you going. Ursula will be bringing the board and supplies along with magazines. However, it would be helpful for everyone to also bring a supply of magazines for everyone to share. The fee for the workshop is $25. And again, you need to get registered and go ahead and you can pay online. By the way, there's a QR code on the flyers on the events board over here, okay? So you can use it to go ahead and get registered and go ahead and get your fee paid. If anyone would like prayer support, we have affirmative prayer cards that are over here on the credenza, and you can fill one out, put it in the box, and they'll get picked up after service today, and you will have a prayer done for you all this week. If anybody is with us that's new today, please raise your hand and let the ushers know, and they'll bring you a new packet. And remember to contact us and make sure you connect with us on all of our social media platforms. You can like us on Facebook and click. The more you click, the better it gets. Follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our channel on YouTube, which I watched this morning. I wasn't here last week, so I got to go on YouTube and watch Ursula last week, which was terrific. The more you connect, the more visible we are to everyone. So we would love for you to connect with us. And our closing affirmation, if you would all stand and say our closing affirmation with us. And then when we're finished, if you'd all get in a circle and hold hands for the peace song. We go forth today knowing that we are God's blessing in the world. Only good comes from us. Only good comes to us. And so it is.